In Tudela de Duero, on the banks of the Duero River in Valladolid, at the epicenter of the Duero Valley, the climatic and geographic conditions are ideal for producing quality red wines. Loose and poor soils, a continental climate with marked differences in temperatures during the ripening phase, and the variety Tinta Fina, adapted and linked to the area for centuries. Founded in 1980 by Mariano Garcia in memory of his father, Mauro, and conceived in its origins as an artisanal winery to satisfy his intimate need to produce personal wines with complete freedom since the beginning, the story of Mauro is of a strong commitment to quality without compromises, making wines with a vocation for aging that claim the identity of the terroir and personality of the winemaker. At the birthplace of everything, a 17th century manor house situated in the old town of Tudela de Duero. This building keeps in its stone walls and its ancient cellars part of the history of the town. Contrary to the tradition, since 2004, the production and aging take place in a modern and functional winery. Tudela de Duero is located halfway along the course of the Duero Valley, on the right bank of this great river that surrounds the village in the shape of a horseshoe. Tudela de Duero sits at 706 meters altitude and is an extreme continental climate. Bodegas Mauro's confidence in its traditional viticulture perpetuates a legacy dating back to the time of Habsburg Spain in the 16th and 17th century, when Philip II made the town exempt from paying taxes due to the quality of the grapes harvested on its land. The vineyards of Mauro cover 70 hectares in several plots with evocative place names: La Oliva, La Senda, El Rosal, Cueva Baja. Clay limestone soils predominate and yields are between 3,000 and 5,000 kilos per hectare. On the high plateaus and slopes of the valley, the soils are grey in colour with coarse stony elements. Meanwhile, in the valleys, grey clay loams and sandy clays with gravel predominate. The plants suffer significant stress. This is limited by the good development of deep roots. The dominant grape is Tinta Fina or Tempranillo, which adapts well to different soil types and is very malleable during the winemaking process, ensuring mature red wines, complex and concentrated. The variety Syrah, with ample tannins and magnificent aging potential, provides our wines with freshness and crisp floral aromas. The approach to the vineyard is organic as a guarantee for a preventive viticulture, sustainable and respectful to the environment, which helps to maintain soil fertility, prevent its erosion, and preserve flora and fauna. In mid-September, the harvest begins in stages, depending on the aromatic and phenolic maturity of the varieties and vineyard. The harvest takes place over 3 weeks and is done by hand in boxes of 12 kilos. A large refrigerated room cools the bunches when they arrive to the winery to favour the health of the grapes and a clean aromatic extraction after careful selection. Skins are lightly crushed and the bunches are completely destemmed. The grapes reach the tanks in small containers of 500 kilos called ovis, without the need for pumping. The grapes are transferred by gravity so that they enter the fermentation tanks almost intact. Fermentation and maceration last between 12 and 18 days, depending on the variety and vintage. As the wine ferments, daily pump-overs are carried out to extract colour, fruit, tannins and aromatic compounds. Subsequently, the malolactic fermentation takes place in wood and stainless steel. Each parcel is vinified separately, leaving the first blending for when the wine is passed into barrel. The time and type of aging of each wine is based on the vineyard, the age of the vines and the circumstances of the vintage. The winery produces 3 opulent wines, elegant and balanced: Mauro, Mauro VS, The latter has a longer aging period and comes from a selection of our wines on 2 estates. And Terrius, sourced from one single vineyard, La Cueva Baja. The barrels are renewed each year by 20% and topped up weekly to control the micro-oxygenation that occurs as a result of the porosity of the wood. 70% are French oak and the rest American, with natural drying of 2 to 3 years and fine grain. Bodegas Mauro assigns between 60 and 70% of the production to the domestic market, covering the entire peninsula, Canary and Balearic Islands, and exports its wines to over 50 countries.